Hey, if you like Ultra Life today, and by the way, thanks for the explosive growth that we're experiencing, please do me a favor. Like, subscribe, and share. Hey everyone, welcome back to Ultra Life today. I'm Josh Bellieu, hanging out with one of my new friends, somebody that I am super stoked about getting to know more over the next few years and really find out how he is affecting local communities, our community around here, with what he's doing to change our dirt that's under our feet, in most places anyway, into real soil that is regenerating lives, regenerating livelihoods, and changing our planet in an impressive way. Kevin Marshall from Indigo Acres, man, it's been really cool hanging out today. You know, one of the things you mentioned to me that's not on your website is, and I'll tell you what, I'll start here. Did you just have to get real aggressive about developing relationships with farmers markets, or is that system evolved enough now? How did you finally, I mean, here you are growing food, and it's like, okay, now how am I actually going to sell this stuff? What took place there, and is that a good system, and how have you helped to improve that?
Great question. We started out at a farmer's market when we first finally decided, hey, let's grow some food. Now we got to sell it. We're in the Edmond community, so we got online, found the Edmond Farmers Market site, got their application, submitted it. Of course, didn't hear anything for a while. And we called them, and Robin went down there in person, knocked on their door, and pushed. And I really wasn't sure we'd get accepted because I didn't really felt like a farm, but we did. We got in, and we showed up with our $100 of produce, and
cool.
It was pretty rough and scary to be next to a farm that's been established for 20 years. Right. They had a truckload and pallets of food, and here we were with one table. But we did that and just got better and better. And after a period of time, we became one of the top produce in the Edmond Farmers Market before we stopped growing there.
Brilliant. And so, especially here in Oklahoma, because we certainly have a core of listeners from the Oklahoma area as well as around the world, are there tons of farmers markets these days? And is it as simple as someone just getting online and just farmers markets near me, and do they pop up, or how does that work?
Yeah. There's a lot of, all that information's online like everything else. There's not enough farmers markets.
Okay.
There's not enough farmers that selling specialty crop, healthy stuff, and it's kind of the chicken and the egg. We need more farmers markets, or more places to sell produce for more farmers to be successful. Farmers markets aren't always convenient for all families because they're generally open from 8 to 1 on a Saturday.
Right.
It might be when you have Little League baseball games or activities, or
Yep.
maybe you're just tired from working all week and you don't want to get up. So we do need to develop a better food system, and there are some things that I'm working on in the background that hopefully will improve that. But we need to be able to get 24 or 7-day-a-week access to the food, as opposed to just a brief period.
It makes sense, because we are such consumers, and we're always looking for that way to fit 10 different things into it. And if it's not convenient, sometimes convenience wins over making the best choices. I know
grocery stores with food that was shipped in from Peru and Mexico and Brazil, that's convenient. That's not local. So we need to improve a better local distribution.
So you mentioned to me when we were talking before we scheduled this interview that you're trying to duplicate yourself in other people. Tell me a bit about how that started and how it has grown and what you were doing, and if you can actually point out there, and go, look at that guy, look at that girl, look at that family. We help them do what they're doing now.
Well, I don't exactly do it that way, but behind the scenes, yes, I'm very, very proud of some things.
Okay.
So it started out actually before I started the farm, before I even knew I could farm, when I was doubting myself. And that year, we talked about it earlier in the first segment, in that year that I struggled with, that I felt like this might be my calling. During that time, during prayer, God kept speaking to me, and I'm like, show me what it's going to look like. And he showed me struggles for 3 years, and we get better in 4 years. And then I felt him truly in my heart say, in your 5th year, you're going to teach farmers.
Nice.
And that's kind of where I pulled back and like, no, I don't know how to farm. And like, well, I'll teach you. I'm like, so I struggled with that. I'm like, okay. So we started the farm, kind of put in the background, other than maybe someday I can teach, because I was doubting myself.
Right.
So we got better and got better and got better. At the end of our fourth season, a friend of mine came to me and said, hey, I got a friend, I want to come do a tour. Brought him out. His name was Evan Mosshart. He went to this guy's church. It was a pastor friend of mine. And we toured, and he said he wants to start a nonprofit farm, grow food, and give it away. And he said, can I come work for you in your fifth season?
Excellent.
And be an intern. And I kind of stopped and like, God said I would be doing this in my fifth year. I was just blown away with,
Nice.
oh my God, this is my purpose. Yes, it's great to grow the food, but my purpose is to teach other farmers. Evan came on board. He worked for us 3 days a week for a season. He got the funding that he needed, and he has started
Perfect.
not far from here, 8th Street Urban Farm. And now he's got 6 lots he's grown from, and he grows everything and gives it all away to the community for places that need stuff. I think I saw him last week where he said he's given away 6,000 pounds of squash this year.
Well, and
Yeah.
what's so crazy about that, too, I've got a friend named Dale Epperson, and he used to do this incredible show called Found Causes, and it became the Saturday morning news show that everybody wanted to watch when they would get up and have their coffee. And he would discover people like your friend. You said Eric is his name?
Evan
Moss.
Mossart. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And what I didn't even realize is there's literal places that they call food deserts all around metropolitan areas, within metropolitan areas, where the individuals that live in those areas, it's totally inconvenient for them to do anything but go to a 7-Eleven. It's not even inconvenient. There's no stores where they can buy fresh produce.
Right.
So, you must be a proud pop of that particular thing with Evan, and to know that he's giving away things that these people desperately need, and they can't even get them in their own area.
What's really proud about that moment is earlier this year, Evan was speaking at a Oklahoma Gardeners Association. I went to attend, kind of snuck in the background, and he was teaching all these things that I taught him. I'm like, this is so cool, because not only did I teach him, it's going to be passed on to the next generation. And so we're now working with some other farms. We mentored another nonprofit farm called Natural Freedom Farms out of the Chandler area. They struggled for a few years, and she came out and interned with us, and I went to her farm and worked 1 day a week. We got them turned around.
Cool.
And she's doing the same thing. In fact, this Saturday, she's having a back-to-school giveaway of food that she's partnering with 4 farms, including us, where food is donated to these families with backpacks to go back to school, but also a package of food for their family. So
do any of these people, like, and maybe you even, I mean, you've already mentioned this interning, are they trying to engage some of their local community people that they're giving food to say, hey, come out and work with us, or let's do something, get your kids out here, dig it in the dirt and show them how to do this, where they could actually even do it in their own backyard if they wanted to?
Yeah. The second one I mentioned, Natural Freedom Farms, Brooke Freeman and Mike Freeman, they are doing that. They brought out some schools to do some work. I went out there a couple of times with them, and we worked with 60 students all at once. It's kind of a chaos, but so they bring the students out to work and dig up carrots, and the kids get to eat the carrots right there on site, and they learn right there at the farm. So yeah, these other farms, they're doing miracles. And it's just kind of a proud moment that maybe I taught them just enough that they can go do what gifts God gave them to do.
Fantastic. Let's bring it down to the really small situation. Josh Bellieu raises his hand and fesses up now of the lack of things in his own life. I've never actually grown a vegetable in my own backyard. I've never done anything like that, but the more I'm around people like you, and the more I see what's taking place, this explosion that's taking place, one farm at a time, small, I can't help but think, are there a lot more people these days that are saying, I could actually do this at home. I'm willing to take the time. Maybe there's not a farmer's market near them. Are there any resources that you would suggest to the individual? It's like, I can't do everything, but I'm going to go ahead and take a stab at growing a few vegetables in my backyard seasonally where I live. What are some resources that someone can, that may have inspired you, or that you're saying, oh, these guys are such good, passionate teachers, they can get a video on YouTube and just dive in and start doing this stuff?
Yeah, I mentioned in our first segment that I used to be a backyard gardener myself, and there was a lot of stuff online. There's groups. We now call them groups in Facebook, but they're online forums. You can go post a question, get information, and I used to do that as a home gardener. Now I've moved on to teaching other farmers, but a lot of online information, a lot of videos, and there's classes that can be taken. But the best way to learn, just do it.
Just do it, right.
And plan on making some mistakes. That's how you learn. Go and screw it up a few times. Let a couple of plants die and do it again.
The likelihood is they are going to grow something, right?
Yeah, usually.
Something's going to come out of that ground.
Totally
They're going to see that miracle happening.
You might just get weeds, but
okay.
you still got to put the work in. So, yeah.
Okay. Did you have a different perspective? I mean, I know with a wife that is a health coach, did you have a much different perspective on food when you started growing it yourself? Was there already a shift in your mind before you did it? It kind of sounds like it found you, as we talked about in the first segment. You didn't know what to do with yourself after you left the business world and this world of IT. Has that really changed the way when you started doing it? Did your own diet start changing? Did you I mean, obviously you're eating the things that you're producing, right?
Yes, absolutely.
But were you one of those drive through a few times a week, convenience, do this, do that, put bad things in my body? Did that change?
There was a time in my life that I considered myself extremely unhealthy. I probably weighed about 40 to 45 pounds more than I do now.
Wow. Yeah, you're looking lean, brother.
And it changes in diet, a little bit of exercise, and the farming is exercise. But
right.
A wise health coach that I happen to live with says that about 70% of it is your diet. You can't out-exercise a bad diet. So a lot of people think, hey, if I just go to the gym, you get on the treadmill and you burn 200 calories, but you eat 7,000 calories a week of bad stuff. You just can't out-exercise that. So, yeah, there's been a lot of changes, and we continue to eat everything we can on the farm, and as part of what we grow, we don't grow stuff that we're not going to eat ourselves.
So, if you could go back and change anything, knowing what you know now, don't you love these loaded questions like that? I would change so many things in my life. Is there anything that for someone that's out there that's going to be getting the farming bug like you did from being inspired by your story, if you could go back and do anything different, what would you do that would be different now? It's like, oh, it would be so much easier if I had only.
Yeah, and as I started and did my own research, everything said to start small, and the instinct is grow as fast as you can. Okay. Use more space, grow more space. If you can grow this much here, then you need to double that up to make money, and double that up, double that. Keep growing in more space. But everybody said start small, and I didn't listen. So that's what I would have to say is listen, start small, because the truth is, in a small amount of space, you can grow a lot of food. I initially tried to grow onto an acre and a half and was failing miserably.
Wow.
Met a guy in Tennessee that it was doing $200,000 of produce on 1 acre. Today he does $450,000 of gross sales on that same acre because he's got better and better. So I had to scale back to a smaller scale, and that still wasn't enough. I scaled back some more. And each time I scaled back, I got better at that small amount of space, and I grew more food in that small amount of space. So by being smaller and getting really good, I became better.
So are you still, do you still as a business person have these incremental goals of what you can do just on that acre of ground you've got, and then, the composting extra things you do on the other acre and a half? Do you still have room to make tweaks and adjustments and, grow up and be like your friend? Did you say they're in Tennessee?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. I actually, one of the people that work for me, she's a farm manager. I pulled her aside about a month ago and said, I want you to see, we went out there and stood, I said, I want you to see what I just saw this weekend when I was doing my walkthrough. As I looked through and I said, we had that 200 pounds of lettuce on that bed. Here's the dollars we made on that. And here's what we made on that. So we're now increased that thing. But look at all the beds that we're not doing that on. Not that I'm asking you to make this change, but we could very easily double our production. before I do that, we need to have our community step up to support that production. A lot of small farms grow a lot of food, and they throw away a lot of food because they're not able to sell the food. So we're working on what's next for Indigo Acres and how we can sell that food next year to see if we decide to step up or not. So,
are there any groups that you're a part of, or maybe you've even started a group that will attract attention and be kind of a safe place for somebody that wants to come in and begin to learn what you do? And like I said, from the smallest thing of maybe in their own backyard or a few pots they have in their house to actually looking at this and going, oh, I can not only feed my family, I can feed my family. I can like pay for cars and pay for college education and things by doing this. Is there some places for people to tap in locally, especially here in Oklahoma, where they can plug into a community of people that are like-minded like you?
Unfortunately, it's not that easy because our food system in Oklahoma is a little bit broken. Okay. There was a group that I was part of when we first started. Unfortunately, all of those farms have closed their doors.
Oh, wow.
That was when I was trying to learn, and early on I learned that most small farms fell within their first 4 years. And then of those that survive, they don't fail the next 3 years, but they burn out and quit. And so I've seen all these farms fail and close, but I'm hopeful that I'm seeing more come up. And so I'm hoping to lead a group or start a group or train somebody to start a group, and we're hoping to revive that synergy that we used to have. But there's some pockets out there, and I'd like to see that improved upon.
Well, hopefully you'll get some calls after we do this podcast that are saying, yeah, I want to learn from somebody that's been through it and can help me avoid some of the pitfalls. And I'm sure there's even people out there that never dreamed they could actually support their family doing something like you're doing. And you're throwing these ideas into my head of a guy that is doing so much on 1 acre of land.
So
it blows my mind.
I might just throw out, there's some things in the pipeline. This idea of mentoring and training and interning that I've done, I've been working with some different people that they took this and somebody said, hey, there's this grant out there we need to go for. And we pulled in a resource from OSU.
Beautiful. He
wrote a grant. It's a grant called Beginning Farmers and Ranchers. And just last week, we got notified that the grant has been approved. So this is a 3-year program that's going to provide a year of training, a year of internship from different farms will be participating, including my farm.
Brilliant.
Where people can get paid to intern on my farm. And then my farm can get supplemental income to help support bringing those people on. So
nice.
we're excited about what's coming in Oklahoma.
Wow.
There's some huge opportunities. What that exactly means, I don't know. The grant being approved, we're kind of like, what's next? We're got this fountain hose of water pouring down us that we're getting ready to drink. So we're trying to figure out what that looks like. But we're excited about what's coming in Oklahoma.
Wow, Kevin.
I think we're going to make some big differences in the next 5 years.
Thank you for listening to God and hanging up your hat when things were tough in the IT world, and then waiting long enough to actually hear what it was you were supposed to do. It's really cool that we're ending on that note, that you throw out this hope and potential funding maybe coming from agricultural universities, writing grants and things to really be able to rev up this process of duplicating yourself, teaching other people what you're doing, and changing our entire planet and the health of people on the planet.
Yes.
So anyway, this is Kevin Marshals from Indigo Acres. You can contact him, indigoacresok.com. I'm Josh Bellieu with Ultralife Today. Hey, do you love what we're doing? Do you like what we're doing? Like, subscribe, share. See you next time.